time has come to relieve that pain. Will be better for me.
The Pain Clinic Pro Wrestling Talk Show. Can you feel the pain?
Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Pain Clinic for, let's see, I'm adding my friends right now, for August 16th. That's right. We're halfway through August. Holidays today, just a few. It's a roller coaster day. National Honeybee Awareness Day, National Rum Day, and Tell a Joke Day. And if the joke starts with knock knock, it's not a real joke, but maybe it is. Birthdays today. AEW's Big Bill is 39 today. Happy birthday, Big Bill, Big Cass, whatever you want to call him. TNA's Cedric Alexander, former WWE wrestler, is 36 today. Hey, interested in roller derby? You want to be a skater, officiate Rock City Roller Derby needs you. Contact recruitment at rockderbyrecruitment@gmail.com and join Rock City Roller Derby. There, in fact, is a game today. It's last home game of the season at the Minette Hall. There's two juniors games, and then the B-sides play at 6 o'clock tonight. I will be there in the sweltering 90-degree heat, dressed way overdressed for a 90-degree day, but having a lot of fun. And come on out. Your last chance this year to see roller derby in this season. So come on out. The doors do open, I don't know, early. The first game's at 2:30, so I'm guessing the doors open at 2. We will see you later, but I'll be there. You know, if you want to join them, Rock Derby Recruitment at Gmail, and you can join Rock City Roller Derby. Men's team, Flower City Fear, FLOUR, Flower City Fear, flowercityfear.com. Always looking for volunteers, skaters, anybody. Thank you for coming out if you had, and if not, we're going to get into the world of pro wrestling. I am your humble host, the Cashman. I am joined by DC Dan Cole from NC. DC, how's the, do you need the AC down there in DC? I'm seeing NC, I mean, confusing myself.
Yes.
You need the
AC is a must.
AC down in NC for DC. All right, and we got Rob Sanderson from Parts Unknown Rochester, formerly known as the Artiste. What's up, Rob? How you doing today?
Knock, knock.
Ah, there you go. Who's there?
Oh, it's me. Hey, good morning.
Hey, if you're watching on Facebook Live, all three of us are here. Come on out and check us out. Nice to see y'all. Missed you last week as well. Lots of things we want to talk about today as we get into the world of pro wrestling. I want to talk about, we got Forbidden Door coming a week from tomorrow. I want to, delve into a little bit of what you guys think about Edge and Christian and what's going on. We have Bret Hart's not happy again. Hey, no surprise. Triple Mania is tonight. If you are a fan of the AAA brand down in Mexico. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about Naomi and what's going on with Naomi. And UFC is going to Paramount and leaving ESPN Plus just for WWE. I don't know. Or, sorry, it's not ESPN Plus. They're going to get rid of that for the new ESPN app or whatever. But hey, welcome to the show, Rob. DC, anything exciting going on where you are at? I mean, it's nice to have you this week. I think, Rob, we missed you, I don't know, last week. Was it ESW? No, that was maybe 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. Was it? Oh, no, that was right. We talked about that at the Riverworks, right?
Yeah. No, there wasn't. I don't remember what last weekend was, but it wasn't ESW.
Stuff?
So
we're doing I know GCW had big shows last weekend too, I think.
I don't know. They're at the gathering of the Juggalos this week. I know that.
Whoop whoop.
And then, yep.
Get your Fago ready, folks.
Yeah. So sounds
Still
like
trying to figure out how magnets work. Miracles.
they are miracles, aren't they? All right.
Yeah,
Well,
next ESW is not till September 26th,
oh,
including the GCW and now also JCW tag champs, Busta and the Brain, Alec Price and Jordan Oliver. So be a good time.
very cool. Very cool. Well, that's the last about a month from now, or a month and a week or so.
And I know we're finally getting a GCW announcement very soon. So
so somebody knows something that we can't say just yet, but it's coming. I'm guessing. So while we're here to talk, I'm
kind of I was reminded this week, a throwback for this show of that time that I was debating whether or not I was moving to the place with the weather. So all that
You
all
gotta
that
watch
popped
out for
back
that
up.
weather.
Yeah, I definitely needed AC there, that's for sure.
Well, it's
Well,
like,
as long as the grid didn't fail, you were good, right?
Oh, that Texas.
yeah, good place
Some
there.
things I miss and some things I don't. And
Yeah, I mean, you had the best, lunchtime break there along the Gulf of Mexico, I believe.
yeah, I mean, my office was steps away from the water, so that was nice. But Greg Abbott was there too, so
There we go.
I digress.
Cool, cool. So we don't. There's nothing really that giant going on this weekend. We've got, and so that's the show. We'll see you guys later. No, no, no. That AAA Mania is tonight, which it's so funny. And I just want to, before we jump into any of the topics I mentioned, I was watching SmackDown last night, and they're promoting AAA Mania, but it's only with WWE people who are in the matches where they promoting, and it was all people we would know, I guess, on WWE TV. So it was like Mr. Iguana is one of them, I guess. But there was but it sounds like a pretty good show tonight with Corey Graves hosting it with the JBL, which I never thought JBL was the expert on AAA, but Conan's going into the AAA Hall of Fame, and I believe he signed a Legends contract with WWE recently too. So he'll probably be sticking with them. He'll be their guy, I guess book maybe. I mean, he's been booking, but now he'll like being, contact with people from TKO as well as Triple H, I'm sure, but yeah, that's going on tonight, and it's free on WWE's YouTube channel. So if you got time tonight to I'm going to be knee deep in roller derby when that's going on, but I may kind of check it out when I get done, a little bit at least. But supposedly there's a match on the card that's like a Royal Rumble match, but done a little bit differently, Mexican way. I don't know how it's done differently, but it's like they'll probably have to explain it to you before, but it's involving people joining the match. But I didn't read the description too much, but so that's going on tonight. But I just found it funny that WWE just promoting their people who are on the show, not really going through the card at all. Just when our folks are in a match, we'll put the graphics up.
Because if you're outside the WWE bubble, you don't matter.
Apparently not, unless you're AEW, which because if AEW has a show, WWE can like run something against. They're now changing their philosophy. You know what that's kind of something we were going to get into eventually on the show. It's in the news, but they just announced something to go in against All Out in September, head to head. And Rob, I think you tipped us off to that, and when we were chatting in our chat this week, and that to me makes me think WWE actually thinks AEW is a threat, and that's why they're doing things like that. Going head to head, trying to steal their crowd a little bit. You guys have thoughts on that?
I think that's 100% what it is.
Yeah, I mean, some people have described it as them just being petty, as well. That maybe they
Both
don't.
things can be true at the same time.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's certainly no denying it at this point, but nobody can really ask them about that in a post-show press conference anymore, because they're hiding from that because they bring back people like Brock Lesnar. But yeah, it's I
Are you saying Brock? Sorry. No,
Yeah.
no.
We
not
we
cross,
want
but-
Brock.
right.
They were
Even though you just got him like minutes ago, but that's kind of weird wording that
it sounded
maybe
like
they weren't actually chanting
cross,
that.
but that was, just the way I was hearing it probably. Maybe the guy too close to the mic or something,
Yeah.
but
Well, they're also apparently doing this for uh against World's End at
That-
the end
yeah.
of December, with trying to move the John Cena final match against an AEW pay-per-view. And I just they're gonna be what they are. I will say in the briefest sense, I've never hated the WWE more than I have in the last 2 weeks. I have no desire to watch a single second of their programming, to talk about their programming, to support 99% of that company. Um, they're absolute trash at this point. That being said, making these kind of decisions, like it hasn't like okay, September, the rumor is that Cena and Brock would be going against AEW All Out, and then that the Rock or Cena and whoever in the final match for Cena would go against World's End. But you're not helping yourself by doing that, because there are plenty of fans that would check out a WWE show if there wasn't an AEW pay-per-view going on. But there's plenty of people that you're basically saying like, oh, we don't care if you watch because you're going to be watching AEW that night. The thought process is like, oh, well, we can do whatever we want and it's going to hurt them and everybody's going to watch us and stuff. But that's just, it's not true. Like, I know a bunch of people who've tuned into some WWE stuff recently, but they watch every AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And when a night like that comes around, somebody like me, there's no chance that I'm putting on a WWE show against. I mean, AEW's never had anything less than an above average pay-per-view in their history. So I think it's stupid. It is petty. And clearly they're scared. I don't know of what, like, because but I mean, all this stuff with TNA too is just, unfortunately, like you're just talking about AAA, and now I mentioned TNA and stuff, and these are basically WWE light programs now. And I used to care a little more about following TNA. They had a pay-per-view thing last night.
That's night
and
emergence. Yeah.
I barely watched any of it, because now it's basically a WWE show. So booking influence and putting their people on it and stuff, like, it doesn't feel like TNA at this point. And some people are happy about that. That's fine, whatever. But there's enough wrestling out there that we can all pick and choose what we want to watch and don't want to watch. And anything associated with the McMahons or Paul Levesque, or these people right now, no interest whatsoever.
Well, you wonder, is TKO have anything to do with this too? Because they're a cutthroat organization. When they strictly were running UFC, they would have things the same night as other UFC struggling companies that were putting out stuff on pay-per-view or free TV. They would book right against them. So I think it sounds like it's really a company mode type of thing, that they want to squash competition, which is stupid, especially in the world of wrestling. We know what happened when there was only one company. It was
Terrible.
Yeah,
It was terrible for the longest time. TKO is not exempt from any of these criticisms as well. Company as well that I don't know, Paramount just saving a bunch of money, whatever, getting rid of Stephen Colbert all after he criticizes Trump, and now good old Dana White and them all ready to do a fight on the front lawn of the White House and getting this exclusive deal with so it's amazing how all these things just happen to be a coincidence. Save all this money on one spot and you can go have your Colby Covington whatever through that whole company.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a shame because, I mean, there's some things happening in WWE that we're not going to see again. John Cena's last run in the company. I mean, I wonder.
That thing where they did that cool thing where they turned him heel and then they just gave up on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Worst heel run imaginable.
Yeah, it's like, and then it's like he woke up. was like a bad dream, how quickly it was over.
I realized I was wrong.
Yeah.
Within WWE, that's the biggest heel turn opportunity you've ever had in your own company, and you
That
and you
turn.
and you just like, hey, we're stopping it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
what?
kind of reminds me a little bit when Steve Austin went heel and the people just would not stop backing him. And so he kind of became a tweener and, I mean, but it wasn't as quick as this, that's for sure. I think that was a rush to draw eyes on the product by having that John Cena do that or get, be on TMZ or, or to be oh my gosh, and it's like, it was,
Your last show before your second biggest pay-per-view of the year, and you're just like, I'm not a bad guy anymore. Like, has anything ever been that rushed in terms of like, you're not even turning somebody, you're just saying like, I'm no longer bad. Like, there are rushed turns, like one we'll get into with Christian Cage and Adam Copeland.
I do want to talk
But
about that.
but
Yeah,
comparatively speaking,
yeah.
that's a well done turn compared to not actually even turning. So
It kills me is how many times did they reference the kid in Brussels, trying to reinforce the Cena heel turn and man, and they couldn't stick it out for the long run. Maybe he had some say in it. Maybe he said, I said yes to doing it, but you guys really had no plans for me. This is my final thing. And I think we knew eventually he was going to round back as a face before he was done.
for sure, yeah, there's
not that
no
quick.
issue with turning him back into a face. Like, he should go out as a face.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But you should put a little, like, if Triple H is this like Booker of the Year, smartest guy, whatever, biggest influence, like, okay, you can't come up with a way to turn him face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you want to, like, people want to say he's the best booker of all time. I mean, I I hate myself for saying this, but like, Vince McMahon could have done a better job of making that turn.
Not wrong.
Yeah,
Anybody could. Eric
Vince-
Bischoff could have come up with something better.
I'm guessing Vince probably would have been against
Want to
it.
make head explode? Tony Khan could have done better.
Vince Russo could have done better.
There you go. Offhanded compliment to many terrible, terrible wrestling bookers. So there you go. Yeah, it was that, but you kind of like talked about Edge and Christian there a little bit. That's exactly what I wanted to get in about them because it was over in a snap, but I just thought that, but it's tough. WWE, they're kind of like, I don't know why they have to feel the need to book. You know what? Maybe Tony Khan should book against this Paris thing coming up because it's going to be a midday pay-per-view, or whatever, a couple weeks. Maybe he could like do something, and offer it for free on YouTube or something like that, just to show that, I mean, they might grab a few people, but
I think the best thing Tony Khan has done over the last 6 months is just stop worrying about WWE and worry about AEW.
True.
Including stop hiring everybody that no longer has a job in WWE. Yes.
Yeah.
We talked last week about, and Rob, you weren't here, about the big WWE ESPN emergence, which happened like a week and a half ago, and within since then, like I said, UFC has gone to Paramount, which and the thing, people are saying that ESPN is going to or WWE is going to an ESPN app that's not even been created yet. It's not even, they're going to get rid of ESPN Plus or whatever it is, and they're going to. This is going to become the new app with the free WWE. Well, not technically, I believe it's like they said it's going to be like $30 a month if you don't have cable. Cable providers most likely will make it free for cable subscribers, much like Peacock is for me now. I get it for free, but they're kind of changing the way things are done in the last 2 weeks with, like I said, now UFC going to Paramount. They're not going to charge anymore they're not going to do pay-per-views. Pay-per-views are getting completely removed. The only people who will be doing pay-per-views is other wrestling companies who need to, like AEW and TNA. But do you have any thoughts on that big change? WWE announcing going to their pay-per-views are going from Peacock to ESPN, because that was kind of a big deal about a week ago. Rob, you have any thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, I It's always going to seem a little weird to me anytime that professional wrestling is mixed in with the worldwide leader in sports,
Well,
from an entertainment aspect or whatever.
the E and ESPN is entertainment, sports net or whatever, so that
Um, I I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll end up being a good thing. I think like the possibility of them getting a couple shows a year on actual ESPN could be huge exposure for them. And now that they don't charge for pay-per-views individually anymore, I mean, not saying that this would be the case, but like if they were to put WrestleMania on actual ESPN, like a lot more eyes on that than you've ever had before. So I from a business side of things or whatever, like it makes sense to me. I mean, it maybe even makes more sense than the Netflix deal and stuff. So I will I hope that the rumors of them putting their archives up on YouTube end up happening, um because what they've had since the WWE Network days has been trash.
yeah, and that's
Looking through Peacock is a nightmare to try to find something.
yeah, that's the odd man out in this whole thing because obviously their live shows are the premium thing they want in this contract. The content they have already digitized and sit on, it's kind of been secondary. No one it's not you know so that's the thing is nobody knows where the archives are going to go once Peacock stops. I mean, and the
But a lot
Peacock,
of it's already disappeared from Peacock, which is,
yeah.
I mean, that's like I said, like I don't need to turn on the current programming, but there's still stuff that there's some like Raw from 2000 I wanted to put on the other week, and obviously going back and watching my 1994 WWF stuff and Brett and Owen feud and stuff, like need access to that. But it's yeah, I don't know, like the Peacock platform is just terrible. Like scrolling through like the WrestleMania category, it's like, which season of WrestleMania do you want? They're not by seasons. So yeah, the only thing I really need Peacock, well, two things are SVU and Love Island. That's it.
SVU
And
and Love
SVU's on
Island.
like everything anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You probably can find it on YouTube too. So,
Yeah.
if you look. So, yeah, no, that I was just curious because you weren't here. And also, we had the results of SummerSlam last weekend where nothing really happened except for, a cash in and, things like that. So it was, that's another thing you missed we talked about, but it was like it just didn't feel significant enough, having the 2 days of SummerSlam and coming out with maybe two stories out of the whole thing. So, it was
Well, and bringing back somebody involved in sex trafficking. So
yeah,
allegedly. Throw
yeah,
it in there.
they haven't really addressed that yet since Brock Lesnar's come back, but he has been put on the booking sheet for a couple of dates coming up. So obviously to sell this John Cena thing that they're going to be doing most likely. We will see. I mean, that's terrible. We did talk about that. His name is still active in that lawsuit. It wasn't like he didn't turn witness like what's his name? Johnny
Laurinaitis.
Laurinaitis.
yeah,
Johnny Ace.
Johnny Ace. I was going to call him Johnny Ace on the skateboard, but yeah, John Laurinaitis, who turned witness and got his name taken out of the lawsuit. But yeah, Brock Lesnar was the quote unquote athlete that had showed up a few times in it. So
44 times.
yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
and yeah, interesting. And I say that the funny thing is that he showed up at the end of the SummerSlam and has done nothing since. So it's like,
That sounds pretty trademark for him, though.
yeah, and apparently even we found out after the fact that he had been getting paid the whole time they weren't using him too. He was obviously being paid while they waiting for this lawsuit to settle. But it is it's interesting. But yeah, nothing came out of pretty much that showing up and then Seth Rollins winning the title. But let's jump to something else. We've got Forbidden Door coming up. Forbidden Door is a week from tomorrow. We'll probably be more heavy on it next week, but got, Will Ospreay surprise last week showing up on Dynamite. I mean, there was talk when he went out that he might be back for Forbidden Door. Well, he's definitely back now. And he does have, I can't remember what it was, a C5, something with his disc in his back. So it's something he looked pretty good the other day though, but which is good. It's setting up the card pretty much has written itself in the last week or so. And
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the logistics of that match they announced.
Same.
10 people in a steel cage.
Yeah. And are they all starting at the same time? And yeah, it's is it one pinfall? I don't the immediately when that was mentioned on Wednesday, I was just like, I mean it's if Osprey's not 100%, it's maybe a good match for that, but it's also like he's not like tagging out and stuff. But to fit all those people in one ring, like I understand not bringing like blood and guts to London logistically, but that's a lot of people for one ring. So
I didn't realize when they were setting that up that they have an extras room where everybody sits in the back until you come in and, and
I'm sorry, I love the bit they're doing with the Bucks right now.
It's
That
the
was
best.
fantastic.
Well,
It's the
I was
best.
confused last week because they shot fireworks before they came out. They shot all these fireworks and then they stopped and then they brought them out. And it was like, I wonder if that was a mistake when I was watching that on Wednesday because it's like they're supposed to be like giving them no fanfare,
Well,
and
they got him the pyro, but then they couldn't afford music for him. So
oh, there you go. Yeah. And I think they got their names right this week too. They, actually, they were using their original names when they first started wrestling.
Oh my god, when Max and Jeremy was used on the lower third, that's one of the best things I've seen in wrestling in so long. And sure, there are probably tons of fans that saw that are just like, what? But as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's amazing. I love that. Thank you for the throwback to Generation Me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Was that TNA?
Yeah.
yeah,
Like 2009, 2010, whatever. Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't believe I remember that too. When I was watching it, it's like, oh, this past week they were going by their original names, which I can't remember what they were, but they were just bizarre.
Oh, their backyard names.
Yeah, their backyard names. I like that. I like what they're doing. It's kind of fun. I think they need to have some fun until they can get Orange Cassidy back and a few of the other guys who make it fun during the matches and stuff, and it's like, but they did super kick Justin Roberts there and took him out, which, I don't absolutely dislike, but
That's fine.
yeah. Justin's going to miss a few Tools shows after that or something, but
I think they should have choked him with his tie.
yeah. Well, that guy's there, I'm sure someplace, he could show him how to do it. So yeah, I think it's building up good. It looks like a great pay-per-view. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be early next Sunday. I think they said, was it like a early start for a 1:00 start? Was it? I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, good. So when it's finished, it'll be time for bed.
Yeah, true. No, I like the early start ones, even if they go long. It's still we were done. What was it? All In was done by what 9? We got to watch actually by 10. It was like it was wrapping up, I think, or sometime between 9 and 10. So after it started at 1, and actually technically the pay-per-view started at 3, I believe. So yeah, this is super exciting. So let's talk a little about Edge and Christian now. We had I thought, I didn't know if they should drag it out longer or that they just wanted to get to it, to just get to them, and I'm glad it happened. I mean, I'd love to see those guys have a run as tag champs in AEW, because they're both there and it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a best of type of thing, so I'm hoping that works out. But to what, Rob, do you think it was a little too quick?
Yeah. I especially because I think it's something that everybody who watches that product has fully expected and seen ahead of time, that this is where they're going with it. They're going to reunite. They'll do one last run. They'll team together in Toronto at the pay-per-view, all that kind of stuff. Like everybody kind of had that predictable aspect figured out, but it still could have been pulled off more. And it seems like when they were doing it, You know, like Christian came out, okay, that's fine. Then they did like the awkward like backing into each other. And you didn't have to do the hug. Like that you could have still been like they could have just looked at each other and Christian could have walked away or whatever. Save it another week or start this a week earlier, maybe if you are going into this tag match at a pay-per-view next weekend. Which I mean, I will say, like, I'm glad that, like, I think it's cool that Kip Sabian's getting on a pay-per-view in the UK and that Nick Wayne is in a really big match and they've built that up. And I'm glad to see that they're not just like abandoning the whole patriarchy fallout thing. Like that deserves to not just be forgotten about because, oh, Edge and Christian are back together and you know, they'll fight FTR in Toronto or whatever. Like I'm glad we're not skipping over the whole Nick Wayne Christian turn and from the patriarchy to the matriarchy, I guess, or whatever and
Yeah.
stuff. And like, I mean, so I'm glad that's happening. I feel like they could have timed it out better, and dedicated a little bit more to that turn than they did. Because now it's just like, oh, they're back together.
Well, you know,
Oh,
we don't really
oh,
get
John Cena's a face. Like,
we don't get Christian's side of it. You know, it's just like he walked off and then and yes, he came out and he came out when Edge was getting pounded, but we don't get anything from him beyond that. That's the first kind of any sort of reciprocation of Edge's love or whatever to him finally with a big hug and everything. I just don't feel like that. I think it went.
well,
could
because
have been more.
you should have gotten to the point where like, okay, that now they hugged, but like, I mean, they didn't have to do every little aspect of like, can they coexist or whatever, but
Yeah.
like to go straight from them like looking at each other to like what felt like seconds later, you've got a match graphic of them teaming together. It's like
Yeah.
they didn't even
Quick.
talk yet. Like, why are we speeding past all of that when that could be such a big part of the story? And I'll be honest, like with all of this, like I wanted to see all of that because as big of a fan of Edge and Christian as I was in 2000 and everything, like this is not my top priority in as an AEW viewer right now. I have a lot of respect from what that team has done and what they've individually done and stuff. Do I want to see them get the tag titles one more time? I think it's fine, I guess, to do that because the tag division is kind of weak right now. But it's not something I feel like I need. And I don't know, like Edge going around on the mic the other night and stuff. Like I was just cringing through a lot of I I've cringed through a lot of the stuff that Edge has done so far in AEW. I'm gonna be honest. So this I feel like they just as a company could have done a little bit more with to make me care a little bit more.
It just felt rushed a little bit. What do you think, DC?
No, same. I would have liked to see this play out at least a little bit more. I mean, there's still the chance that they're making it seem like they're back together, but things fall apart, in their match, which would be fine. But I always envision them, getting back together maybe a couple months down the line for a match with like FTR
Yeah.
titles on the line or something like that. But
Well, and I think that's I mean, I assume they're just gonna get past this Nick Wayne thing and then it's Edge and Christian against FTR in Toronto in a month and 4 days. I mean, like it's I don't know, but then what?
Well, that's the thing is
I hope I don't know.
tag champs.
Is it going to be for the tag titles at that point?
Yeah. So
Probably.
you did mention the tag division is kind of hurting right now, and it's because
It's a good word to use.
yeah, the hurting business wise. They right now the tag champs are people who keep turning down other teams to take titles off of them, or so supposedly we hear. I don't know. Whenever you hear things like that, but when you hear it from more than one source, you know that there's some truth behind it. And the Hurt Business was supposed to drop him originally to FTR. Apparently, they refused. MVP is difficult. There's been, I don't know. I mean, when we see that much about it, I mean, he's been difficult with WWE and he'll probably never go back there because of the way he lambasted Triple H when he left and how he felt he wasn't, he felt that, not to say there was racism, but there's not a lot of black people being pushed in WWE, and it wasn't. I don't know. He kind of pointed it out.
What was that point that somebody was slightly incorrect, but put a tweet out this week that there hasn't been a black male singles wrestler to have a pay-per-view like singles match since Snoop Dogg in like 2019 or something.
Crap.
And when I heard that, I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So there probably should be I don't know, people have all sorts of nicknames for Triple H, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but that guy, obviously him saying that when after leaving kind of probably burned a bridge between him and them. But
I mean, you can say all that, but Cody Rhodes is a champion right now.
No. True. It's interesting that but MVP's being difficult with or apparently they've been asked to drop the titles a couple times and they've said no. One of them was FTR. And then they said we want to put over some young teams, and after the fact that they've beaten every other young team in AEW already, so I don't.
I just the whole like there are things that have improved in the AEW booking, but in my mind, the tag division and the trios division are still severely lacking. I mean, how many credible tag teams truly exist right now in AEW that could be legitimate contenders to hold the belts at this point? Not many at all. And you've got so many people on the roster, but instead we just got to have John Moxley matches every 2 minutes.
So that does make it difficult. So
I see some shenaniganry going on at Forbidden Door. I think we're going to see FTR win the titles off of Hurt Syndicate there with a little assist from MJF, which will turn into Payback later on that same event.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, I like that.
I'd much rather see Brodito win this week, but I don't think that's not happening.
I kind of enjoy that tag team, man. They're a lot of fun to watch. So, there's one team that,
but they're so early in terms of being established, like that, like it hasn't convinced me that like this is still going to be a tag team in a month. And there's just so much of that kind of stuff going on in the tag and trios at this point where I
hate when a tag team has a singles title holder.
It's kind of like, I'm glad you mentioned that because it's kind of how I feel about Christian and Edge tagging again. They're going against guys who probably won't win a tag title ever, at the paper or at the pay-per-view. Those guys are just put together to have a tag team against Christian and Edge. So why do
the tag teams, to be a credible tag team in that division, the vast majority of your matches should be tag team matches. You should get matching gear. You should come up with double team maneuvers, like they're a team name, all of that kind of stuff. And like when it is just two singles guys thrown together, like that it's never what I'm never like, oh, that should be the next set of tag champs.
Yeah.
I like Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian, but I agree. Like it's not like they've been in like just a ton of 2-on-2 tag matches together.
What has Kip Sabian really done? Now he just is like a second for everybody else coming out most of the time.
No, he's been pretty much that's not a fair comparison, but I was going to say
I feel
almost like a Marina Shafir.
More ringside than in ring.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. He definitely does not wrestle that much.
There's a bunch of people in that company that can wrestle and stuff, but like never get matches these days. Because again, it's got to be another Wheeler Yuta, John Moxley, whatever. Like those are the people that get matches every show. They're both on tonight too. Great.
I haven't really looked at what's going on tonight on Collision, but yeah, I'm not surprised. So I do want to mention, just jolt a little bit back for a second to TNA. They had a pay-per-view last night, Emergence, and nothing changed. Like you said, it's a highlight show for WWE wrestlers who are on their shows, because of their deal. A lot of rumors floating around about TNA, a lot of rumors about them. Nothing's just, I've seen nothing in writing about this, but they say that there's a big chance that TNA is for sale and WWE gets first refusal of anybody who wants to buy TNA. So, and not that Tony Khan would, but he had an opportunity before and he turned it down. He's turned it down twice. He turned it down once, they said, before he started AEW, and he's turned it down once after because he's got Ring of Honor, and most of the same people on the Ring of Honor in the archives are the guys from TNA as well. So that's all he was thinking, was buying the archives and getting the company. But there's now Lorenzo Fertitta, who used to own UFC, is a big name being mentioned as buying TNA. And then also because of their association with WWE, CW's interested possibly in putting them on TV. There's been way big rumors about them starting a Wednesday night show, which of course would screw around with AEW as well. But they have a big announcement that they made last night that they're going to do on, I think it's either NXT or on their show this coming week on Access TV that could mean many of things. They haven't said exactly what it was. Could be that they were bought. Could be that they have a debut day. I mean, we are coming up to fall season debuts soon, and that's when September and October, that's when NXT debuted on WB. So have you guys seen any of those rumors floating around? I mean, it's been a big TNA rumor week, I think. And they, besides ownership and floating the TV show around, what do you think, Rob?
I mean, if you're WWE, do you even need to buy TNA at this point? Because you can do whatever you want with them at this point already without having to pay for them, and use them and act like it's a partnership that's benefiting them and stuff. And it's, I don't know, like I know they're doing Wednesday night, they're like showing what is it, Slammiversary, and like a behind the scenes or something show with that, like up against Dynamite and stuff. Like I mean, it's clear what all these intentions are and stuff. You got the NXT people holding the TNA championships and all of that. So I don't know. I don't know if they even need to buy them because they already make them do whatever they want. So
Pretty much. Now the question is, this moving networks. I mean, there's been rumors for a long time about them having some
it'd
interest.
be huge. I mean, if they could get on CW, that'd be a huge improvement from Access TV. I would have watched a significant amount more of TNA in the last year had it been on a channel that I could actually get. So yeah, that would be gigantic for them if they could do that. If it's going to go against AEW, like I'm the chances of TNA passing AEW to be like the number 2 again, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's so incredibly unlikely. So if that's what they are trying to do, whatever. I mean, do your thing, but there's plenty of people that, like I said, like the people like me that I did pay attention to a lot of TNA stuff, and right now I just don't want to. Aside from like a few specific people that are on the roster that I'm going to check out what they're doing. But not really, I don't need more stuff influenced by the McMahon Helmsley era that never ends.
Yeah. Well, we will see. I'm sure we'll have news on it next week when we have whatever their big announcement is. And
I will say this too, though. There's pictures going around all over online right now of Triple H and Stephanie on a boat in Greece or whatever and stuff. And everybody's like, oh my God, Triple H is so out of shape and stuff. Dude, he's retired. He's like almost 60. Like he's clearly not on the gas anymore. And good for him because he almost died. Like people are like tearing him apart because they see what he looks like without his shirt on right now. Like, really, you're gonna body shame Triple H at this point? Like, get over it. Like, there are not many things that I would defend him on at this point, but people just find every little thing to, like, him and his wife are on a boat with their kids and stuff. Like, leave him alone. but the paparazzi's got to be out there snapping pictures of them and stuff because they can't just leave people alone.
Remember, he had heart issues. I hate to
Yeah.
admit that when I was looking at that picture, I was looking for scars, for maybe where he had open heart surgery or something, because he did have some heart issues, and
That's probably
why-
a lot healthier for him to look like he does right now than to be in the gym for 4 hours a day and taking all sorts of supplements and all that kind of stuff. Like he almost died.
he did.
but-
Yeah. So, it's interesting. Yeah. I did see the picture a few times, and some people, say he's in great shape for his age, and you know what? I'll give him that. I probably look the same without shirt on.
I think most people would if they when they hit Triple H's exact age, whatever it is right now. I don't know exactly what it is or whatever, but like I think most men would probably be like, yeah, that's okay. I choose to look like that at that age. That's acceptable. Sure.
Can't be Sylvester Stallone, I guess.
Like, sorry, he's not like the most jacked guy on the planet anymore right now. Like, there's no reason for him to be. So,
Well, he still has to have his voiceover every beginning of every show, and he's got to come out for every big show and make an announcement, and as well as his wife comes out the second night of every big show.
Me.
Yeah. It's all-
yeah. Well, let's get more.
And people always thought like McMahon had a big ego. Like, I don't know. Triple H is giving him a run for his money.
Yep. That's why it took me forever to watch. I finally finished that Unreal series because I could only take it in small doses.
Gotcha.
Putting over Triple H, putting himself over.
Triple H Vanity Project.
Yeah,
Yes.
one
One of them, yes.
Want to hear him say F word about 100 times? Watch the show. But I thought it was good. There's some things that were good in it. I mean, I definitely, like I said,
I thought I would like it more than I did. But
I like
mean,
Charlotte Flair,
I
but-
understand why plenty of people liked it, so it's fine. Like,
yeah. Well, they're doing another one from the period from WrestleMania to SummerSlam. So we'll get that in probably another 8 months or something. They're doing.
Can we get an honest discussion of like, all right, let's have John Cena go out there and just say, "I'm good."
Can't wait to see how they gloss that over to make them look good.
Well, if you watch that show, the whole pitching him the bad guy thing and everything, was, it was.
And then they walk over to WWE Legal, be like, "Can we use Brock yet?" Yeah, that's
Okay, so
episode 3 of the next season. Can't wait.
So speaking of SummerSlam, I do want to mention before I get to the news here, Bret Hart. Have you guys been following Bret Hart's commentary on line recently? He was invited to SummerSlam, and so that they could put him in a chair and show him on TV. And then they didn't have a sit place for him to sit, so he never got to be on TV when SummerSlam weekend was going on. Even though I think I saw him backstage or something, there definitely was a time when he was on TV. But and so he came out and said WWE just doesn't give a damn about me. They're just they don't care at all about my history in the business and everything. And I thought that he definitely had a little tantrum, I will say, about it. And
I mean, if you travel in for a show and then you don't have a seat for the show, like I'd be irritated about that as well. But I mean, I'm looking at it not from an aspect of like, you got to put me on camera. Like, no, like just like I came here from Calgary to stand backstage. Like, what? Why am I not just home right now?
well, they probably brought it. I know they brought him in to they do like autograph signings and stuff like that, like they were doing backstage.
probably did something like that. But yeah, they had to give the TV time to Bully Ray.
Or other
'cause
people. I don't even know.
Can't wait to see the Dudleys wrestle again in the end of 2025. That's Jesus.
I heard that. Funny you mentioned that because Bully Ray did say that him and Devon are going to take on the Hardys again because the WWE wouldn't promote it, but TNA will do it. And it's like, now Devon has come out and said he's retired, and that's for sure. So that's never.
Wait, what?
I heard Devon say he's done. He's never coming
I
back.
thought that was the. Well, yeah, but then I thought they like announced that match for Bound for Glory.
Did they announce it? Okay, because I thought that he had said that after that they said they were coming back. So I don't know. It's up in the air, but I thought I had read that Devon was officially done.
They pull a swerve and it's actually Spike.
Spiking, yeah,
I
he's free. I mean, not financially, but he probably has the date open, I'm guessing. But yeah, who knows? But yeah, that so Bret Hart, but I just, and I agree with him. Bret Hart, I mean, Bret Hart has a high opinion of his run in WWE, higher than they did, obviously higher than they do. And it's like, but Bret also is first to admit that they were trying to get away from the steroid era, and he did not look like a steroid monster when they gave him the title and everything. So that's all part of his dynasty in the business and everything, but I just find it very interesting that they open their arms a little bit to him, and then freaking make him a second thought, which is unfortunate, but Triple H is in charge, I mean, I'm sure he's got carried on biases down from Vince McMahon and everybody else, that booked before. So I just find it, I mean, I like Bret Hart. He's great. He was fun. He's been on the show a couple times. It was, he definitely was, he deserves better treatment, but he's the first one to say that, which is not always a great thing, but
there's some things he's bitter about that are just like, get over it, and other things that whatever. I mean, for me, he's still in like my top 3 of all time. I know that's not typically the case with most people watching wrestling or whatever, but I'd still rather go back and watch a Bret Hart match than most of the other people we've talked about so far on the show. So.
Yeah, and people like Stone Cold Steve Austin give him all the credit in the world for where they went in the business because of Bret Hart. So Bret Hart was instrumental. He had the championship a few times, and put over Shawn Michaels, put over Stone Cold Steve Austin, made them big names. So he does deserve a place. And whether you win or lose, the length of the career is really has a lot to say for his, longevity and his time in WWE. And really, I agree with him. And I think that, it's just bias from, past regimes that he's having to deal with now. Once Triple H is out of power, we'll see what happens with people like Bret Hart and stuff like that. But I think, and not to say that Triple H did that, but, I don't know. I'm interested to see if he shows up at all on the next backstage show, because he was there and that's when they start the next round is with SummerSlam. So it'd be very interesting to see if they show it. I mean, I know, Rob, you're not a big fan of Punk, but man, there was way too much Punk in that thing too. But I thought it was
why I didn't really like watching it. Yeah,
I know. I was gonna say I just thought it was really interesting in that when he had pretty much booked the match in the Elimination Chamber, and that's exactly how it ended. Was when he was talking about how things were going to go down. So obviously they took his ear. He'll be a producer someday with them, I'm guessing. Producing matches and whatnot. But I'm going to jump to the news and we're going to get out of here. I got to run a little bit early because we have early roller derby today, so I have to be out the door by 12:30, and I mean, that's far from now, but I got a lot of things to do before I do that. So let me jump to the news. This past week on WWE, I know I ain't going back there, but Naomi was supposed to wrestle Io Sky on Raw, and they made an announcement on Monday night saying that Naomi's not medically cleared. Starts a lot of rumors when something like that happens, especially because she was healthy the week before. But there's a lot of people, there's rumors regarding Naomi being pregnant. I don't know if that's true or not. Naomi's going to make a speech on Monday Night Raw, and does have a match with Stephanie Vaquer on at Clash in Paris. That's the August 31st pay-per-view. That's going to be in the morning or whatever if you're awake at that time. But I want to throw that out there. Kudos if Naomi's pregnant. But she's also champ, so. She also won me. I'm not going to say it, but because of her win at SummerSlam, I won the fantasy wrestling and got a big lump of money put into my account. So I'm a big fan of Naomi now. So that is very. If she's pregnant, and that's what I know that she said always wanted to have a baby, and maybe that's the time to do it is now. So if it is, but if not, we'll find out why. She was not medically cleared to wrestle last week on Monday Night Raw. WWE is putting WrestleMania 42 tickets on sale September 24th at Ticketmaster. So if you're going to go to Vegas for 2 days of WrestleMania, that date's coming up in September 24th.
And you can put your deposit down now.
I saw that. I didn't put that link.
I'm guessing the deposit is more expensive than a pack of 4 tickets used to be for WrestleMania years ago. Yeah.
So I got the email, and they broke it into 2 categories: floor seating, bowl seating. bowl seats, which could be any seat other than a floor seat, I'm assuming. 2-day ticket package. It says as low as $500. In the floor for the floor seats is $2,500.
Yeah.
As low as when
As
there's
low as.
it's an
So the-
NFL stadium
then-
that you can have nosebleeds where you can't even tell who the wrestlers are in the ring because they're so
Right.
far away.
$500 ones, you'll be sitting behind a pineapple tree, like I did when we went to MetLife Stadium. There's
I
a
mean, it
freaking-
could be worse. You could have lights in your face.
Yeah, I saw that. They had that at SummerSlam. They asked them to shut the lights off from the entranceway because
They
they're-
do that at all their arena shows or their stadium shows.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
go
they-
so overboard with the lighting that they blind a portion of the stadium.
people on the floor were blinded. They said on the opposite side of the ring from where from the entranceway. They couldn't know. They asked them to turn them off because all they saw was like blinding lights. I think they did turn them off eventually, but it was yeah, no, it's like yeah. So you could pay $2,500, have a real nice floor seat, and be blinded.
Have a real nice floor seat. Yeah, okay.
What as low
The
as
people in the $500 seats would have a better view than the people on the $2,500 floor seats.
seriously, if you're being blinded, they would. And it's like you bring your binoculars. That's all I say. You got these little binoculars. You see better, unless there's a tree in your way. So that's coming up in September. If you're going to watch AEW Collision tonight, there's a few matches that are on the list. You're going to see this is a fun one. It's a 4-way with Henchero versus Nigel McGuinness in the ring. Lee Moriarty and Daniel Garcia, 4-way for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. It's for a shot at it against Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbidden Door. So I like that Nigel's in it. He did talk a little bit about it last week on Collision, saying that he was going to be involved in the match. So I know that these were taped already, and I have not looked at the results, but that's well worth watching the show as well. Like Rob had mentioned, Moxley's and Wheeler Yuta are going to be taking on Jet Speed, guys who probably should have been tag champs, but MVP didn't want it to happen. Julia Hart is taking on Chris Statlander and Penelope Ford and Anna Jay in a 4-way for $100,000.
They love those money matches.
I don't know what is going on.
Prove that they win the money. I want to see like a camera following them to the bank to cash a real check to actually like.
You should give them one of those big fake checks, and then they,
Why? Like, just have a 4-way match. Like, $100,000. Get out of here.
Yeah. So that's tonight on Collision. If you're going to watch Dynamite this week, which is going to be from Glasgow, Scotland, I'm guessing it'll be recorded because it's time difference, but you're going to get Tony Storm and Windsor versus Athena and Monet. So I thought that was a great setup. I mean, it's interesting last week when they were on Dynamite and they were all standing in the aisles around the place with lights on them. And then they ended up brawling by the end of the match. But so they were going to get, that looks like a fun match. And also Will Ospreay is going to appear, and this is in Glasgow, Scotland. So I can't imagine it being live, but I could be wrong, but it would be like in the middle of the night if it was live. So being, I think, a 5-hour difference between us and Glasgow. But this will help set up, obviously, Forbidden Door, which is coming up a week from tomorrow. If you're going to watch SmackDown this week, you're going to get Carmelo Hayes and The Miz versus Motor City Machine Guns. That was built last night. You're going to get Aleister Black versus R-Truth. He called him Ron Killings last night. And then John Cena's going to show up. It'll be like one of his, I think he's down to 8 shows now. I don't know. He keeps counting them down. And I don't know, I haven't seen it as part of any of the results, but Ace Austin is signed with AEW and should be debuting tonight on Collision as well. Ace Austin, formerly of TNA, Ace Austin, great wrestler.
Yeah, so they've announced it's him and Ricochet 1-on-1 tonight.
Oh, that ought to be good because he's a solid hand. So that's awesome. I did mention this earlier. Brock Lesnar is been announced for a pair of WWE televised events coming up in September 12th in Norfolk and the 19th in Toledo, which the pay-per-view that follows those dates is the Crown Jewel in Perth. So maybe that's when, Saturday, October 11th, maybe they're setting if they're not setting up John Cena versus Lesnar against All Out, then they're going to be setting it up for Crown Jewel in Perth, which is October 11th. I don't know if you saw this story this past week, but our friend, a guy that we've met and been a cool dude with it before in the past, Charles Robinson, a WWE referee, got bit by a bat in his hotel room this past week. If he's not getting bit by bats, John Cena's killing him, or man takes a lot of shots. He's the referee to go to if you need to freaking get a bump in a match. That's for sure. But yeah, he got bit by a bat and had to go to an emergency room. And it's like, I guess when bats bite you, hopefully you don't get treated for, I don't know what they carry. Bats also.
Rabies.
Yeah, if you got to get treated, the old days, rabies used to get shots in the stomach. Because I've heard before Ozzy died, he told the story about when he bit that bat head off on stage, he had to get like 11 shots in his stomach. But I don't think that's the process anymore with it. But he did have to go to the emergency room. He was given 6 shots, so maybe it's still the same day. But he posted about it on Instagram. Last night at TNA Emergence, Sami Callihan said that if he didn't win the match against Mike Santana, that he would retire. And they changed the match before it started into a Baltimore street fight. Obviously, it was in Baltimore last night. Sami Callihan lost, and before he left, he took his boots off and left him in the middle of the ring. Do I think Sami Callihan's done? I don't know. I mean, he's got a good mind for wrestling, so he could be a booker. He could move to doing something like that, maybe backstage. But Eric Young did give him some grief, I guess, before everybody else came up and kind of like, patted him on the back and stuff after the match. But I was a huge fan of Sami Callihan, and I think, man, I always think about his terrible run in NXT, but he's a 2CW guy. I know that because that's where last time I saw him, wrestle. So
Heavyweight champion with a reunion show coming up.
Interesting. So hopefully we'll see Sami. He may not wrestle, but he's quote unquote retired from TNA doesn't mean he's done forever. So
he's running Wrestling Revolver's his indie that's one of the top indies at this point, and they run fairly frequently and stuff. And so he's still got that going on, but I mean, he's done stuff backstage for MLW and with TNA and stuff too. That, yeah, I mean, he definitely should be creatively involved for a long time, one way or another.
It's a good thing. What was his name in NXT again?
Solomon Crow. I was there at an NXT house show in Tampa for the very first Solomon Crow match. I remember, and it's like he just misused him, and that's why he left there pretty quick. So, speaking of another guy leaving a company, we talked about this past week or last week. We talked about Karrion Kross and Scarlett with their contract running out in WWE, and a lot of apparently it ran out. He said on Saturday, I think it was the 10th, that the contract ran out, and a lot of people, like we mentioned earlier at the SummerSlam press conference, people were chanting Kross, and Triple H said, yes, Brock Lesnar's back, when they were chanting Kross at him. Once again, shows you that really what the future of Kross was with WWE at that time. And he's a free agent now. He's got a bunch of independent dates set up starting in November, but there's a lot of people thinking, could it be, like R-Truth when his contract ran out, and then apparently they sent him a contract. They did not send his wife a contract, and so he did not sign it. But he did get sent a contract and did not sign it because so maybe he'll be back with WWE, maybe not. But there's been cross chants on Monday as well as last night in SmackDown that they poo-poo. We'll say turn on the WWE sound machine. And but I don't know.
Are they saying Boo Earns?
Boo Earns. It's Boo Earns. That's what I was saying. I'm Hans Moleman, by the way. So so who knows? Kross. He was a bigger deal before he came to WWE than I think what WWE didn't know what to do with him. Remember he was shaved head when he first started in NXT, and they gave him the championship. He got hurt. He was there a month, won the championship, got hurt, had to relinquish it, and then he got called up when he, and then he had hair all of a sudden, and he had that gladiator outfit, and oh, they just didn't know what to do with him. But it was like he kind of, he reinvented himself, and I think that I liked what he was doing with Sami Zayn and everything before. He never would win, obviously, but I did enjoy that. So we'll see what happens to Karrion Kross. He's a young man. I'm sure he'll be back someday. That's where he wants to go. Maybe AEW will sign him. I mean, yeah, he's not your atypical AEW. He reminds me a lot of like Wardlow. Maybe him and Wardlow come out in like, bondage gear and do like
Just gets worse by the word. Just,
Just
no,
I'd
thanks.
stop now, Cash.
well, I mean, that's what the WWE's version of the Road Warriors were. They put them in bondage gear and hadn't come out. So,
Alma tag team S&M.
yeah. So you could do something. I wouldn't mind, because I think Wardlow is ready to come back as well. We talked about it last week. He was backstage in Cleveland when they did Dynamite last week, and he's done with the American Gladiator show. That's probably, they're probably in the editing phase of that right now, but they're done.
Yeah, they apparently taped 2 seasons already.
Oh, did they? Yeah. I know that the Miz is back, obviously, with SmackDown now. He was on last night. Him and Carmelo Hayes are tagging, so which is not a bad thing. I got Carmelo on my fantasy roster, so I want to see him get more wins. But Fandango, not the wrestler, but the people, the ticket company, I guess, they acquired pay-per-view.com in an effort to expand its in-home footprint by adding live pay-per-view capabilities and cable transactional video on demand services to its customers. And right now, AEW versus New Japan for Forbidden Door London is going to be on pay-per-view.com, one of the places you can watch it. But I don't know. I mean, they got it probably real cheap because nobody's doing pay-per-view anymore. After WWE and TKO said that UFC is now going to be on Paramount, no pay-per-view, and WWE pay-per-view is just ESPN new app that has not put out yet. So Fandango got it probably pretty cheap, but people who need pay-per-view are going to have to go through them now. And hopefully that's what I'm hoping, that with all this move and everything, that's going to push AEW to putting their live events on Max, because why not? I mean, we've not seen Max numbers for any of their shows yet, but I mean, if you add them to I bet you they draw over 1 million with the Max numbers. If you add it to what they're putting in the ratings every week for households watching. So, but I would love to see, I mean, to get rid of pay-per-view altogether and put AEW live. I don't even know what they would call them. You can't call them what WWE calls them, PLEs, but put their big shows on Max. I'm hoping that happens sometime soon. And then Fandango will have bought nothing because it's just for pay-per-view. Maybe boxing that I don't think anybody cares about, except for UFC and TKO. But season 2 of the Peacock series Twisted Metal debuted on streaming services July 31st. Cast is currently making rounds on the media tour. Samoa Joe, in an interview this past week, who plays the character Sweet Tooth, love seeing Samoa Joe on WWE commercials during their shows. And he talked about breaking his ankle during production of the show. And so if you watch that second season that's on right now, he said he limped through it, and he didn't get it fixed until after the filming of the show. So I thought that was interesting. Joe seemed to be, I hate to say it, and I love Joe a lot, but he seems to be injury prone now. What happens way too. Remember, he had that concussion while doing the WWE commercial, and that took him out, and I don't think he ever wrestled again in WWE after he had gotten that concussion. And now he's broken his ankle, and he's been hurt a couple times in AEW. But kudos to Joe. He's in this TV show. Have either of you guys ever watched this show, Twisted Metal? I've never watched it either. I mean,
Played the game, never seen the show.
It looks interesting. I mean, the dude who's Captain America is in it, so it's like, yeah, maybe I'll watch it. I see a lot of commercials. Speaking of watching something, TMZ debuted this past Wednesday, the life and legacy of Hulk Hogan. The interesting thing about it is Vince McMahon was interviewed for it. And I have not watched. It's an hour special. And I have not watched. It's on Hulu. That's another reason why I haven't watched it yet. But I'm curious because Vince. A lot of people say he comes off pretty well in it, but physically he looks like a worn down, beat up man from some of the descriptions I've read. But they also in this documentary they also have Mick Foley, Jimmy Hart, Alexa Bliss, Jacob Fatu, and it's called the real TMZ presents the real Hulk Hogan. And I'm guessing a lot of the things that he screwed up in his life that people still hold against him will be addressed. I know that I've seen a quote from Vince McMahon saying that he wasn't racist, even though those things came out of his mouth. So,
Right.
yeah. So that's Vince, though. He likes to rewrite history all the time. So it doesn't surprise me. The last piece of news before we get out of here, and I know we have a AAA Triple Mania. You ever wonder? I was thinking of this. Isn't Triple Mania the name kind of like a ripoff of WrestleMania? And it was done by AAA, and WWE is still promoting Triple Mania. But don't you think they should take that as like an insult? That hey, listen, they had a big show, and their big show is the same as our big show, except we call it WrestleMania, and they call it Triple Mania. I don't know. I always feel like before now.
I mean, there's nothing they can really do about that at this point because this is what Triple Mania 33 or something. I mean, it's been around since like the early 90s, so it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, I mean, when it first started, probably.
Oh yeah, they probably pissed going, where's our money from this? It's, we're the ones started WrestleMania, but that's going on tonight. But I did mention, mentioned AEW All Out is the same night, September 20th. WWE is going to be running a show Saturday, September 20th in Indianapolis, Indiana, that they're going to, I don't know if it's a Saturday night main event. I mean, we'd know already if it was, but it's going to be some sort of live show that they're going to be scheduling out against Toronto All Out. That's from Toronto, Ontario, which it's pretty close, Rob. I'm thinking, man, it'd be fun a little trip up there to Canada for a weekend, but I'd rather watch it than
yeah. Supposed to be going to a Jays game like the week before, so I don't know, but
you could be up there already.
Wanted to go there actually for a show today, but this ankle is
I still having problems.
Oh yeah. So.
Oh boy. Well, that's the last piece of news I wanted to mention. Is there anything else going on that I missed that we should mention before we get out of here? Trying to think. Wasn't that, like I said, there's AAA Manias this weekend. That's the big show, but it's like that's kind of like WWE's new toy. And so I don't care that much.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little of that card, I guess, is intriguing. Like the thought of a potential AAA mega champion of Dominic Mysterio is kind of it's crazy to think about, but it definitely could happen tonight. So,
I mean, El Grande Americano could win too.
Oh, jeez. Just close the company at that point.
It's just funny that the main event is El Hero del Vikingo versus Dominic Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and El Grande Americano. So there's three guys from WWE. Technically, they all are, but in the main event, and then the match before that, you got Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Raquel, versus Mr. Iguana. I don't know, Nino Hamburgerusa, I don't know, and Lola Vice. So it's
Hamburguesa.
I think of food when I think of hamburguesa.
You should. It means hamburger.
Yeah, it means hamburger, Cash.
It almost says hamburger.
Hamburguesa con queso.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of matches, and those are really the ones that WWE were promoting. They were, the Bardall Cup match. That's the one that's going to be like the Royal Rumble. So that's on the pay-per-view as well.
I think that's like a battle royal with pinfalls, I think.
That's what I thought. Yeah, they have multiplayers in it. So Corey Graves and JBL are going to be doing the English broadcast, and you can catch that tonight on WWE YouTube channel. You can check it out. That's all I've got for this week. We're going to get out of here. I want to thank you guys in the chat room. Nobody was really chatting in the chat room, but they're all there, but they weren't chatting. So maybe we can spark up some conversation next week, as that might make them want to chat with us a little bit. But on that note, we're going to get out of here. I got it. Like I said, if you're in Rochester, you want to see roller derby, 2:30 at the Minette Hall Dome Arena. I'll be there, dressed way too not for the weather, dressed heavily in clothes that should not be worn when it's 90 degrees out. But I will suffer and enjoy it. And I will see you guys. We'll see you. Thank you in the chat room. Thank you guys watching online. We'll see you all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.